different game.
I don't think either side, Cleveland or Cincinnati, would deny that there's something special about that. It's an in-state thing. We hear it year-round. I don't drive to work very often that I don't hear a Cleveland joke on the radio. It's the city of Cincinnati competing against the city of Cleveland and all that goes with it.
You do know the difference between Cleveland and the Titanic. No, what's that? Well, at least Cleveland has a better orchestra.
Cleveland once also had the most innovative coaching mind in NFL history. Paul Brown built the Cleveland Browns into a football powerhouse. With 10 championship game appearances and only one losing season in 17 years. But in 1962, owner Art Modell decided to make a change, and an NFL pioneer was sent into exile. For 5 years, Paul Brown was out of football, waiting for another chance. The Buckeye native resurfaced in 1968 as head coach of the new Cincinnati Bengals. Anxious to build a winner, his new team became a mirror image of his former Browns in more ways than one.
When Paul Brown first took over Cincinnati, the uniforms were virtually identical in color to the Browns. They had orange helmets. The white and orange and brown color schemes were all the same, and there's no question that it was that Paul Brown did it for a jab at the Browns and for a jab at the man who fired him, Art Modell.
The coaching legend landed his biggest blow by winning the AFC Central in 1970, his very first year of head-to-head competition with Cleveland. So driven was Paul Brown to beat his former club that the Bengals found themselves competing against not only the Browns on the field, but also the storied Cleveland team still fresh in their coach's memory.
He used to constantly remind us that this is how we compared to the 1950 Cleveland Browns, because he had a folder for day 10 of training camp of the Cleveland Browns in 1950, and he compared that up against us. And he said, today they made more progress than you in 1950. So there was that constant comparison.
Although the similar uniforms made their games look like intra-squad scrimmages, the battles were fierce. The Browns and Bengals fought not only for the AFC Central and state pride, but also for player talent. In 1973, the Bengals' college draft position was just ahead of Cleveland's, who badly coveted a receiver named Steve Holden.
When the Bengals picked Isaac Curtis, there was a great uproar, applause by all the Browns officials in the draft room that day that, hey, they're going to get Steve Holden. As it turned out, Isaac Curtis went on to the Pro Bowl, a great career, 420 catches, 7,000 yards, 53 touchdowns. Steve Holden lasted only 4 years.
Curtis caught more touchdowns against the Browns than any other team in football. His receiving skills blended perfectly with the Bengals' power running game, as Cincinnati dominated Cleveland in the 70s.
We had to throw the football to win, and when you do that, you've got to throw a high percentage type pass. So we were a ball control type team. Certainly we had the big play capabilities with Isaac Curtis, but with the potent running game the Bengals have, the running game set up the play action pass. And Pete Johnson was basically up the middle, off tackle, and he's going to power his way in type of running back.
The Browns finally began to make a move on their state rivals with the hiring of new coach Sam Ratigliano.
Listen, we can throw all day long and we can run too. We got to score a lot of points. That's what we got to do. Okay, Reggie.
Hey, that's a good call right now.
Brown left, 72, wing post.
Sam's cardiac kids cut Cincinnati down to size. And in 1980, the Browns finally got their first chance to win the Central in nearly a decade. But they would have to beat the Bengals to do it.
We got to go down to Cincinnati. And Forrest Gregg is now their coach, which lends a little bit more, I think, to the rivalry in that he was another coach that was fired by Art Modell that was in Cincinnati. I think if we'd have lost that game, we would have not made the playoffs. And I think it's at one point in the second half, I think we down 14. And Ricky Feature come up with a couple of big catches for touchdowns that get us back in the ball game.
Ryan Sykes to throw.
Throws it deep in the end zone. It is a touchdown again to Ricky Feature. That's 2 in a row. The Browns have won the championship. The Browns have won the division championship. Another cardiac finish. The Browns win.
In the mid-'80s, another coach named Sam entered the feud. Cincinnati's Sam Weish and his flair for the dramatic made an unlikely hero of tackle Anthony Munoz in 1984.
We're down 17-10 with about 45 seconds left. And when Sam got here, he got the lineman involved in the tight end position, and he installed a play where I went out for a pass. And I noticed that he's holding up with hand signals of formation to run this play.
Hand off, no Boomer running around to the right. Looks, throws into the end zone to Anthony Munoz. Touchdown.
The Bengals went on to win in overtime, but no gadget plays or trickery could save them from a determined Cleveland squad in the most pivotal game of 1986.
We had to go into Cincinnati on the second to last game of the season, and the team that won it was going to win the division that year. And I remember going into that game, and we came out first play of the game and threw it a bomb to get things rolling for our team.
Deep down the left side. Slaughter open. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Browns.
We kick their butts, but that's the way to play the game because Cincinnati comes to play. And if you're not ready, you're going to get your butts really beaten up bad. No one wants to lose to Cincinnati.
They want to kill the quarterback. Regardless if he has the ball, he doesn't have the ball, they're going to take his head off. I don't know which one of their linebackers hit me, but kind of knocked me out. And I couldn't remember the fourth quarter of the game until I saw it on film the next day.
The memories of Ohio fans are much clearer. From the depths of Cincinnati's jungle to the canine corner of Cleveland's dog pond, the battle for Buckeye State bragging rights remains fierce, no matter what the stakes.
Long count by Gosar. Backpedaling. Throwing on the left side for Slaughter. He's open. Touchdown, Browns. Beat him like a drum.
Right now, you go for the jugular. You go right at him. The game is on the line right now, but maybe the damn season. Now put yourself in that position right now.
There you go. Trips left. 61 Cobra, halfback fan. On two. Moochie, get on the horse. This is big. Come on, Boomer. Hit this one time.
Boomer, play action fake. Back to throw. Still looking. Down the middle. Brooks. Touchdown.
It began as Paul Brown's quest for redemption. Today, it is a fine madness that has engulfed an entire state.